Hey you guys, it's Miss Arneson here, and I'm making a video to talk to you about the policies and procedures for this class. The slideshow that I'm going over, because I'm not going to read everything that's on the slides, is also attached to this Edpuzzle assignment. Just so you know, this Edpuzzle is going to be something that you have to do at the beginning of every term, so if you pay close attention and you get 100% on it this time, you can screenshot that at the end and then you can attach it to future assignments so you don't have to go through the whole video again. So pay close attention and try to get those answers right. Do a couple replays now and it'll pay off in the long run. Hey, a lot of times people say that I'm a really strict teacher, and I honestly don't mind because one of my jobs as a teacher is to provide a safe and secure learning environment for all students. Some students have anxiety, and when class is chaotic, it makes them really uncomfortable and they can't learn. Some students are really invested in their social status in a class, and so they're just really concerned about making others laugh and getting stuff done that way, which is a totally awesome skill if you are charismatic, but it doesn't help you advance your science knowledge, and I can't give you credit for it. So that's why I have these rules and procedures, and even if you don't like them, even if you don't agree with them, I need you to just follow them while you're in here. Remember, science class is only going to be a tiny bit of your entire life. First of all, cell phones. If you know me at all, you know that I do not allow cell phones out of my class. Part of the reason for that is because I have learned that students are addicted to their cell phones. I don't really need any evidence to the contrary because I see it in my class all the time. Sometimes students try to tell me they're not addicted to their phone, but when you do things like you're compulsively looking at it, you're looking at it and you don't even, it's like an automatic behavior. You're not even thinking about it. And when it is causing you negative consequences in your life, either socially, mentally, or even like low grades, and you don't care, you just keep using it, that's the signs of an addiction. And so I like to give you a little break. Studies show that it's a good idea for students to have a break from their cell phone, and I feel like I have a responsibility to make my classroom one of those places. There are a couple of times when you can use your phone in class. That's if there's an emergency. And just so you guys know, emergencies are not when your mom needs to bring you lunch or when you're trying to figure out who's going to give you a ride home today. Those are things that you could take care of in between classes or at lunch. So make sure that you do that before or after school or some other time so that it's not interrupting your science learning time. Sometimes you need to get your phone out for classwork, but I'll make it very explicit when you need to put it away and when you need to take it out, so there shouldn't be any confusion. Having your cell phone out in class is an easy way to break trust with me, and it's really hard for us to have a really good relationship over our science years if I can't trust you. I try not to break my trust by being really consistent with my policies and procedures and making sure that I always have a valuable learning activity, and I'm asking you to keep your cell phone put away in class. Headphones are another thing that come out a lot in class even though they shouldn't. There's a couple of times when you could have your headphones out, like if you're watching a video for this class. If you have documentation for an accommodation, that's actually a legal term, and if you don't have documentation for an accommodation, you do not know what that means, and so you don't have one. I can probably guarantee you that. So if you see someone else with their headphones on, they might have actually a reason to have them on, and you're just going to have to live with the fact that everybody's different and move on with your life. There is one exception to a time when students put their cell phones out. So I just want you, I mean, students have their headphones on. That actually makes sense to me. If there's chaos in the classroom, like there's a lot of noise and side conversation, sometimes it is nice to put your headphones on and kind of block out some of that. But I try to make sure that there's no chaos in my classroom. And you know what? That means that you have an even better learning space because the conversations you're hearing are about science. Hall passes. So I don't like when people ask me if they can go on a hall pass. I know most teachers want you to raise your hand and ask permission. I don't like it. So if you feel like it's a time when you can go to the bathroom because you've asked your group if you're doing group work, or because you know that we are like you're finished with the thing that we just started doing, like you finished it really quickly, then there is a sign out sheet by the front door. You can go put your name first and last, sign out, make sure you put the time, and you need to leave your cell phone in the classroom when you go to a hall pass. So make sure you leave that on the purple box on my front desk. If you don't follow the rules, like you're staying too long, like you miss more than 5 minutes or you don't put your cell phone in the box, then you will lose your passes in the future. So please try to make sure you follow those policies because you don't want to lose that out for when you actually need it. Um, if you are going to the bathroom every single class period, then that's probably a medical issue because you, on average, if you're a human being and you drink a healthy amount of water, you should pee between 6 and 7 times in a 24-hour period. And school's only 8 hours, so that means that that would be really, really excessive. So I know a lot of times when people need to go to the bathroom, what they're really doing is that they feel like they need to take a break. And if you need to take a break from your work, I'd rather you just tell me and then like walk around the classroom or something because that way you're not missing what's going on. So if you really need to do that, if you need to take a break, you can ask me for one and I will probably give it to you unless it's a really important thing that we're learning. So that way you can have that little time to just give yourself a brain break. But if you are leaving class all the time, like let's just say you use a 5-minute break every day in each class period, you'd be missing 8 full class days over the year. And that is just so much class time to miss. So that's why I don't like it when people are going on passes all the time. But if you do need to go to the restroom or you need to go throw up, please just go out of the room. You don't have to bug me about it or interrupt me or feel like you need to get permission for that. But make sure you use your time in between classes so that you don't have to go during class all the time. Absences are a big deal at Las Montañas. They always have been, and I feel like the kids who are being successful right now are the ones who are there. So if you have a trouble with your absences, if you're missing like once a week, please know that that is like not a good habit to have in school, which you probably already know, and it wouldn't be an okay habit for you to have at work either. You'd get fired if you did that. So try to build up your attendance rate. Just so you know about late work, I accept late assignments all the way until the last Wednesday of the term. So you can turn things in up to that late unless it's a substitute assignment, which has to be turned in on the day the substitute is there. Or if it's front loading. Front loading videos have to be done before class. The reason why is because I really, really do not want you guys to be doing those late. I want you to do them right before class. They actually pertain to the lesson that we're going to go over. So if you have a little bit of familiarity with the content, then it'll actually make it a lot more productive when you're learning about it in class. You can get half the points for it. That means if it was 10 points originally, you can get 5 points for making it up. And if you do it again, so like if you do that front loading video twice, then you can have the full credit. But I'm just saying, do it on time and then you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. We will be writing incomplete sentences in this class all the time. So on an Edpuzzle video, please write incomplete sentences. In fact, on front loading, you don't receive credit unless you start with a capitalized letter and end with some sort of punctuation mark. Please make sure you write incomplete sentences. You will not get a good grade if you don't. So we need to get in that habit. And the best way to get in that habit is just to do it every time that I ask you to so that it's just automatic eventually. I'm going to put zeros in each week if you, or like each time I grade, if you haven't turned it in yet. That doesn't mean that you don't have to turn it in because it's already graded. It just means that I put in a 0 because otherwise I will forget to put in zeros. And if you haven't turned in work, I don't want you to see a score that is not accurate. You can revise assignments that you have gotten lower than a 70% on. And just so you know, I will leave work for you when I have a substitute. Miss Russell was recently out for a week for a good reason, and apparently only one student did the assignment in her class. I tracked that student down and gave them a full-size candy bar because they were the only responsible student in the class. If I am gone, you absolutely will have an assignment and you must do it. If you don't do it that day, it's just going to be a 0 and you're going to have that ugly fat 0 bringing down your grade for the whole rest of the term. Even if you can't finish it, you just need to do your best to do as much as you can. Also, I would like you to keep all of the work for this class in the folder, and you're generally going to keep your folder in class so that I can always look up your work if I need to. Please be an independent learner in this class. Don't wait for your teacher to walk around and make you do stuff. Imagine if your boss had to walk around and make you get started on every single thing. It's just not a good habit to get into while you're young. In this class, I'm asking you to be self-motivated. I'm asking you to take educational risks because you feel safe. That means that you're willing to talk about what you think. And even if you're wrong, that's okay. You're going to take the initiative. You're going to get started in your group work. You're going to keep going even when it's hard. You're going to have good time management. You're going to be accountable for your actions. You're going to be a critical thinker. All of these things are what bosses want, and the people who get promoted a lot of times have these skills. So please make sure that you're building good work habits every day in this class, and then I can be a good reference for you when you need a recommendation on a job application, just so you know. All right, guys, thanks so much.